Thanks, Amy. It's a great honor to present this MSAA award again this year in memory of my father, Jim Vanderkelen. For those of you too young to remember Jim, he was known as a pioneer in snowmaking and helped lots of ski areas improve their snowmaking systems. And he also encouraged a lot of people like myself and many others in this outdoor venue to become more involved in this great industry that we're in. The purpose of the MSAA Achievement Award is to recognize an individual has contributed greatly to the success of our industry. The recipient represents the spirit of our sport and attributes such as entrepreneur, risk taker, dedication, and true commitment to success. The award recipient is chosen each year by a committee of our association, along with the executive director, Amy. And this year's recipient is Chip Perfect from Perfect North Slopes. If you could join me up here, Chip. So Chip has been a wealth of knowledge in our industry, and he's been with us for all 38 years of Perfect North's existence. It all started in late winter 1980 while Chip and his dad Clyde were working at their farm. And their farm was mainly cattle, corn, and soybeans, right?
Yes.
All right. So a student from Indiana State named Kelly Green drives up to Clyde and Chip. Kelly tells them he had been skiing at the newly opened Paoli Resort and that it was incredibly successful. Kelly was a local guy and had done a feasibility study for a college thesis, and he believed the perfect farm had better hills and a better location than Paoli for a ski resort. So Chip, being the curious guy that he was, just graduated from college. It was 1980. The economy was tough. Interest rates were over 15%. Clyde's, his father's bricklaying business, was slow. Clyde was truly an entrepreneur at heart, so this new ski area idea seemed crazy, but worth pursuing in true Clyde fashion. So Chip got going, visited some resorts, started talking with people that only Chip can in the way he can, asking questions, and he recalled being impressed with 12 school buses at Wilmot on a Tuesday night. Now, 30 school buses are common at Perfect on any given night. So after lots of research and looking to other areas, they decided to give it a go and build a ski area in southern Indiana. They cleaned up the land, started building, of course, a brick day lodge, installed 4 rope tows, 2 handle tows, cash registers, rental gear, and of course, snowmaking. For snowmaking, they started with 3 compressors, 2 200 horsepower pumps, 6 Blue Sky Blizzard pipe guns, a few homemade Clyde specials, and they did bury the pipe, which was correct, but of course Clyde had to build the snowmaking hydrants. And Chip finally remembers dragging 100-foot hoses around that first year making snow.
Fondly wasn't the word I used.
No, sorry, fondly was not. For a cat, they had a tucker with a blade, a mogul planer, and a powder maker, for those of you that can remember what that was. That first year, they did 6,000 to 7,000 visits, and now that's a bad Saturday for them. Chip and the team at Perfect have been an innovator with tubing, carpet lifts, big capacity and efficient rental shops, and high-density modern snowmaking. Now they have 250 super polecats, over 12,000 gallons per minute, on over 100 acres, and it sure is an impressive place. We have taken people there from Russia, China, New Zealand, and all over the world to visit Perfect, and they all walked away impressed. Clean, efficient, family-friendly, and guests having fun are all themes from these other resort owners that have visited. On a personal note, Chip and his lovely wife Ellen have been married 34 years. Believe it or not, they actually shared an office all 34 years. Another amazing accomplishment. They have 3 great kids, Alex, Paige, and Grace, 2 of which are here tonight joining them. Chip calls his life an adventure, and our industry is really lucky to have him as a part of our group. Chip, it's my pleasure to present you with the MSAA Achievement Award.
Woo!
Thank you very much. Wow. There's no higher honor, really, than to be acknowledged and recognized by your peers. And this really means a lot to me because all of you mean a lot to me as well. And I really appreciate this recognition. And to be in the club with some of the other previous recipients is quite an honor. And I'm certainly humbled. A lot of folks that I really respect in this industry, and I'm glad to be a part of that club now. Speaking of clubs, I was going to give a shout out to one of those guys who joined another auspicious club recently. Lee Nelson just turned 90. I thought he was going to be here and we were going to sing happy birthday to him, but he had a little bad turn. So Peter, you make sure you tell me we're thinking about him today. So when Amy called me about this award, first thing she said, the name of it is Lifetime Achievement Award. And she said, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. We're not like kicking you out or anything. We expect you to be around for a while. But we'll tell you, these guys are going to, take this maybe a little tough. I'm not going away right away, but I'm not staying as long as Lee. So we got that to look forward to. And it really is quite an honor. And when Amy, talked to me about this, and we talked about talking afterwards, for those of you that don't know me well, and we're hoping for some brief remarks, that's probably not going to happen. And as Ellen said, you didn't get this award by keeping your mouth shut. So there's a lot of people in a lifetime of achievement. As Jim said a few moments ago, there's so many people to acknowledge that had a great part in whatever lifetime each of us have. This is a lifestyle, and we were talking about Jim living at the area, and I say that to our team all the time. Working in the ski industry, some people think of this a career, but I certainly think of it as a lifestyle choice. It's not for everybody, and it's kind of a tough gig from time to time, but very rewarding. And one of the most important and valuable pieces of that being rewarding is when you have some great partnerships. And I have to start acknowledging the first and most important one. My wife, Ellen, has been my partner in this for the whole time, and really has been the marketing director. You told me you weren't going to come. Been the marketing director of Perfect North Slopes for all this time, and always has made us look good and made me look good. And I really could not have done it without her. Joe said we shared an office for all these years, and I think she would agree with me. Thank God for the internet, because once we started having kids, she was able to do most of the off season at home. And then when the ski season started and she was at the ski area, I was outside most of the time. So it worked out pretty well sharing that office. But Ellen has been there with me along the way and understands the lifestyle and has embraced it and been a part of it. And hopefully I can tell this story without getting choked up. She and I grew up less than 3 miles apart. But never met until after college, when she was in the initial class of our first ever ski patrol. So she joined the ski patrol, and I met her at the slopes. I'll never forget the day. I was looking out the window our second year, and I'm like, said somebody in the office, now who is that over there? And this lovely young woman was over there painting on the first aid room, and I'm not sure which was more attractive to me, the outfit that she was wearing, which, as I recall perfectly, was a white t-shirt and cut-off bib overalls, but that she was working for free was pretty attractive as well. So she was volunteering time. I knew we would have a good thing going after that. We've done a lot of great things together in the ski industry, but as Joe said, our greatest accomplishment, our kids, who I can't look at right now. So proud of them. Funny and fun and sharp and capable. And the most important thing of all to me, just really good human beings. Very proud of you guys. Joe brought it up, and I would be remiss to not mention other important relationships, and that, of course, my parents. Not everybody is willing to sort of be pitched an idea about starting a ski area in southern Indiana. It takes a special, which sort of means crazy, kind of person to do that. And as Joe said, my dad and mom were always very entrepreneurial, and I was able to convince them it was a good idea. And because I couldn't get a job at the time, it was the early 80s. I thought it seemed like a better idea. And I think my dad sort of thought it was a get-rich-quick scheme, which after about 30 years, it worked out. Besides being a tough gig in the ski industry, we also survived, which is even maybe the more difficult gig, and that is to be a family business. And there aren't a lot of those left here in the ski industry anymore, because it is the combination of the two are very challenging. And we've been up to the edge a few times, but we never actually fell off the cliff. And that's a testament to my whole family. And I certainly wouldn't be here without all of them. So a lot of people have contributed to this, and we have a large group here as well, as Jim said. I look at it a little bit differently than maybe he does, and that is it takes this many people to make me look good now. So it's a heavy load. But we are very fortunate to have a really top-tier team. I'm so proud of this group and what they're capable of. And, I know we're all busy on the peak days. When it's busy, we're all busy. But man, I wish you could come to Perfect North Slopes just one day on a peak day and see these people at work. It's remarkable. They're at their best at the most challenging days, and I couldn't be more proud of what they're capable of doing. And I get the luxury a little bit of sort of watching them go, and they really know how to pull. And when it hits the fan, they're right there. And what an amazing group that we have. And again, thank you so much. I wouldn't be out here with all the help of all you as well. So, I guess I would be remiss if maybe I didn't, I am old enough to remember, I just wanted to take a moment to sort of talk to some people that maybe don't about some of the big personalities and names that folks remember here, or some don't, but should, that really helped us in the beginning. Back when we decided to open a ski area in southern Indiana, there's no internet to go do research on. You had to call people up, and they had to call you back. Or you had to go visit people, or they had to come to your area. And some of the legends in this industry, in my opinion, did just that. Some that come to mind, close to home, Jim Dilworth was willing to encourage us. Tony Souter from Riblet was able to finance some lifts in southeastern Indiana. I mean, there's a crazy guy. Let's see, Nils Erickson, he had a daughter here. Are they here this year? His daughter was here a couple years ago. Hugh Knapp, many of us are very familiar with Hugh Knapp, and we bought some junk from him over the years. And Stuart Campbell, and just a lot of people, but I wanted to particularly acknowledge Jim Vanderkelen, because as I was telling Brooke a little bit ago, his enthusiasm was infectious. All those people just really encouraged us, and none of them said we were crazy. I didn't really realize until a number of years later that they were also trying to sell us something. But at the time, it seemed really, and I think it was very genuine. They were excited about the industry, and they were excited about what they did, and they really helped us and put us on the path to where we are, which is well beyond my imagination. And I like to leave you with just a couple of thoughts, and that is this. One of the things I like to tell young people when I give speeches is to be open to the possibilities. You just never know what is going to happen. You never know what's going to be available to you. I'm just a kid from Guilford with a degree in agriculture, and had the opportunity to run a ski area, and it's been a great life and been extremely rewarding. So be open to the possibilities. And when I thought about this, I realized that almost everything great in my life started with these three words. What if we? What if we built a ski area? What if we got married? What if we had some kids? What if we tried to do things differently at Perfect North Slopes? What if we said yes when they asked me to run for the state senate? And I would not advise that one for anybody. Be open to the possibilities, and if you say what if enough, one of these days you end up here having a great moment like this. Thank you.